What position is that? He's in the position already, chief of staff. I tell you. Paparazzi follows straight. Show down.
We will see Jill Rollins in Toronto Rollins. In 1992, the last day, near rally no mikrum. And in Suato, my papa no nim car. And I'm the Mercedes Benz that I friend Barracuda. I'm the man, my papa. Oh, no, so I shake a crack. Uko two car. Now, all bang, now my chakwan so. Then see you to turn a air slippery. Or panicking or tear break in this what was. Na car, a summer sort. When you say politics in tea, we couldn't forward jubilating. Some car, I because me the NPP about saying don't. That is how bad. So because can Japan or loud mouth now on your show NPP more not the way
I'm contribution why the entire party where we constituency there
good from Asin first candidate just someone I funded it second apple. Now be a nipa mienu a me on credit back wo honorable Kwame Nabatels and Teresa Tego.
Okay.
Number a survey Asin and wherever they went just say why be from America what they know about be winning and they didn't believe it said 13,700 here
as a muwa
better not to winning but now my green so apple and for the second term. And he was sincere, said no. I didn't do okay, and on per situation, when this kind of debia is relying on me to interior memenko.
Okay.
So he gave me chance to go. Now I'm saying yet, my support to no. And honorable Kwame Nabatels, and it is a table a bar. From bar, I'm savage. I said I can win the seat in Timinko. So I give credit to honorable Kwame Nabatels. Said me my MP for 6 consecutive terms. Or no, and I bear encourage me say I'll win the seat. Or my best survey, the chair said I'll win. That is how come I became an MP or parliamentary candidate for Asin. Ne Asin North. Today Central and North we together.
All right. At here for and I that's run cook pan and then some ano din ye papa enti mame mo adwo emo akwaba enfamra greater one studios aha ana Ghana and 7 nyina ye boa no a ye de ebro se fa ne politics authentic accurate de dana akwamu no libilibi no labalaba yen ka bi in favor ne yen ka bi so man da bi yen sa de ne wa ha de buta ye nyina ne se ama Ghana ebe fa ne ntampa atimi afra enti enedai yes eneye ukwada producer mbwa ana yes eneye ukwada kita onsabo so meda etoso enwotwe ewo afe empem mienu ene aduenu ensia ni muni yes 28 July 2026 emuni ewo nana nsamba na ho paso ayebedi enkomo ewo ha sei nana yiwaso ye pa na ebetie nsem ewo Greater One Studios. And then some Dawson, producer extraordinaire, champion, Jay-Z, Ewaha, Sasona 7, and so Ewaha say, Anna Afe, Yaw, Bonsu, and so Ewaha, and Penifoya Daroma, and one watching Semina, Anna Mede Ebro, Menoka say, Justin Frimpong Quadria, NPP General Secretary, Menoka say, what the crata 10 abeto abefo and 10 tiny so ediaba 7 na JFK edi free MPP for akache edi eba me didina ebro mebo mu ewo ahase me no kasa sisia yi enkwam sha ababonten so no potokasem wo se de was it the NDC will make a big mistake if they present Asiedu Enketia General Mosquito enkwam shaba ne se omode wo kwa wo bewe poto enkwam hye no hwan na ehye se enkwam no na enkwam hye ni mu asem no was it General Mosquito any doctor Alhaji Mahmood
Bomi from we are sedie wow to ka say baby president you can be a president in Ghana now one for sure
odifo no ni din Dr. Power Man ana eka sensem we nyina wasade biam atuja ese 2028 wasade there will be no election in 2028 metia nam say odifo be na eka say na de na mo de mo hyehye nkom ben kom hye ni mu asem no me de ni nyina abraw owie no wase Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia Samila Bawumia nikunu Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia mechira opani a wodi MPP anim afi empem mienu ane aduenu nan abato a ekoso ema enkukuo eba MPP fo akache ema wodiri mikawia gede eba bonten ebeka se His Excellency John Dramani Mahama congratulations ne matiri nkwa opani na asem na me no wokan odifo na asem a wokan se ewo amamre ni amane bi ewo eye Ghana ha was a Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia was it there is a case a course on NPP and Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia. They must break or else they are not winning any presidential blah 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 and what they are taught to so ewa ahase and some ne doso me no kasa sisi ai NDC for Sadi we mi hu bia che papa he enipa trimo odion won de ntia ama Ghana entimi mfa ne ntampa entimi mfra nyina me ba bia obi se na nana kedua wo ba akra no no abe nani na o report me oba ne me o report me no oba ne me yade a yeniyam na ameka wasem a ye papa o se wonye Ghana sika na ubedie ne ba yenya dai yebe expose ni yebe bo wachi ma woto wona ahon hyehyew so ati ase me no ka say medical catcher say NPP ni NDC always be omu interest na ehia me no ka say sisi ai tape a apie monte so video a apie monte so no okwa NDC fo akache a se nantwie me hu bida yesie nantwie nyini kese o na nka yesie ne sa akran ka anya me nwanwan ade di NPP Ashanso de MPP flag achichiri na ntwie ni ti ane ye de credo awurade Yesu ni patrimo den agwetomenyo enipa nyo ne man Ghana mu nipa de wo mo nyenyenyenye enye de oni wo nyina de ma no na ntwie no ade ye de MPP flag achichiri na no ane ye de credo awura na ntwie ni hunim apie na no ane ya loke no ane ye de ahye fom ama Ghana ma ede ne yaji ni wiase mo amoba apoto mo ntimi nya adwuma wo krom ha afede de adu ni aduto yense nipa ede na de bebre mu atiefo yento asoe wenu mu nyina ye ntro a mede ebre wo ase o na ukopiem ewo eye upper east regional MPP fo a ewo ho eyen ya matwefo na matwefo ne nsem o mo ka nyina ne se wo mo no o mo de bebo omo party ho ban omo fa ne obekai vigilante eba ye NPP fo gu omo de NDC fo de masa omo ani ate omo angu omo de ewi ase no ye de gengam MPP fo entimi no ka say MPP fo a omo wo eye upper east region no ese nyame ya aduma 2028 enya de omo beti ase na me no ka say amatofo a omo bati atentene nwam akese a wosi usuma chesene eye ukuoda yi obeka se na ye duada sa matofo ni bi ano mo abede wom ane yesu omu in omu dwumadi nyina ne se ya mo na emu gimi a ene ye mfa ho nchew eno so wa ha a mede ebrew enso e wa ha sei na unim the best for Emma asole enum bi omo se ye be sole ye ngu wana boy ase kwaku freak ana boy se enum no ya kumase boys wan ya producer se wan ya dear to ya to oh producer tie nyom na fa producer no wan fa producer woni mayimu a wo hu sa na ba ya to enyum bi wo se ye be sole na the best for ma sole hey afedi Samila Bawumia ana omode kwano so o mo se Samila Bawumia wo wale Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia wo hwehwe awiase mu nyina eya wo se Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia de na tiko etese obi anim na ne nsa ho kura ne kun no wo hwe ne nsa ho a wutimi da wo hwe ne nsa ho a no wamen wutimi hwe na anim ada no anu aduane no wamen the best for ma asem no mo ka no na fei adai sequence nsam efrin na mhunam se ese madam sa na odress na de na the best for mo kikan the best for ma asem mo kan na ne se Samila Bawumia wo hwehwe mu a wayi wo Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia e de ba biem any slay any ade biem ade obi sa ye odofo biem ana pese odress ya na wunya be ma fufuro biem e wo Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia anim ananam se ebei se video ni nyina so wa ha the base ma no eso ka bi de kire Samila Bawumia eno so wa ha ye bedi eno so eho enkomo enso e wa ha sei na me no kasa sisi ai eya abrantie ma menka we yesi Dr. Alhaji Mahmood afrafranto Alan Kwadwo Chirematen ene Kennedy akompre kwa Japan ensem afri MPP fo no mu bi akache ba ne se yamamu running mate Kennedy akompre kwa Japan say never in my life some me mpe uncontrollable things bia wo me life me no me pese me wo vision me pese me di ku anim na me de dom ne kwa akon na me de akon no so me kudi nkunim enu nti me mpe ayurani mate bia me mpe mate bia mate sam no metia na me bofro me because me bedi mate achi a obeye kosanso bla me kokoto aduane bla me koko yese bla me adu time a wo beka wa adwene no was kokoto nsuo bla me kokoto se bla me enti mate sam ne de Kennedy se won de na ni nya hu kra ne de ane se obedi animu ni vision no implement ama Ghana for who say yes we number 1 eno na MPP for ni bi ababonten ni bi ni so kasa say Kennedy akompra kwa Japan esi wo beko the base ya wono wo ba MPP party mu omuko omu promise we first of all say so enkrofo brofo Alan Kwadwo Chirematen edi kan eba ye ka ye to aba na wari se poto wo se wono wo be MPP for say any obe free mu dia mema running mate wo se running mate alata gwangwang menye me pa running mate na me be pe aba am MPP for to aba ma me amma be lead party no edma koduru bo sha asase ne so ya o se de running mate enti Alan Kwadwo Chirematen anye Kennedy akompra kwa Japan eso ebaye wono so Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia edi na tikoka afom no Kennedy unyuma ne vision ne de na ye kama papa ka wudi animu an ka beboa ka Ghana fo so ebenya nyuma ye se de da bia obodawro no na anya amaso no beje wrani mate Kennedy se alata gwangwang mempe wrani mate bia ene se ya no ye masa monso mo vision be na mo wa ye wiam amama madi nkunim na se ensema Kennedy kana no etu MPP fo ni bia asema mo kan se yasi Kennedy akompra kwa Japan meje wrani mate wo so wompe ana Alan so meje wrani mate Alan so se wompe ana abo Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia so ana je wakofa ne napo ede ne bai napo ma radiesi obisa ne ho ahyibi obisa ne ho ahyibi enti de atanyina ne se yasi se Alan eso obeba the base na Kennedy so omuso obeba the base ya Alan ne Kennedy wan be ya running mate enkrofo kwahye mu busa no na sam ne nyu obi ana eka wo ziga kofa bai Casben anu odi ni juma okwo UTV kwakasa any other platform bebre so abrantie ziga ekasa wo so na abrantie ziga kwase awotu aba ne se Alan yama running mate ewo Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia side wanye ana wode te ho Kennedy yama running mate ana se yama se be ye vice president wa ma ye enti munyina wo so ni Alan munyina mani suade hunu no mo pese mo bedi Ghana nim ene asade a munyina mu ko the base no wan bedi animu na wan ye running mate na hodi eduru hodi a wan bedi running mate na moje sade a mo anya fetu Dr. Alhaji meti yanam sky ene the base for be reply akwa ipe manu ansi me hu se kwase obi de comment bia betwam hyew nam se aboa katoa na ziga voice ne wa ha any Kennedy so voice ne wa ha mebo na nkrofo bebre se Kennedy onya hwe onya bibia ana Kennedy akasa since 1992 ekwanya ofri America Kennedy ba asen central ne should be me de beto so de akyerɛw the whole asen na boga bia ni ho ene ka bia ode bai asen obia ni bi enti Kennedy esole na obie ni rivers ne wo krom ene ade a waso ono wo na America a wo ye na adwuma ye ni business wo ni sika ne bibia what one of say Kennedy wo ba asen central wo betumi aye wonders wo ho ana osesa se wa woni America la chale what's up ana sir metumi agi seat ne ade ohu sa na mu hu no om ti Kennedy say oba eye asen central oba Ghana no okwa asen central eni omudi na chi keno eni NPP fo mpanifo ene omu pam Kennedy so onkoi eni omu nyina begu asen central kene beye okay ana kenso so abie ni rivers no eni afei yeto abade abahye so Kennedy na adi nkunimi ene no oye project awodo no odi we toa no ode toa wona Rollins kai abakade yase wo se obi asa no achia wo panti mensa asano mensa ya dia mekaye ne yentete ho Kennedy na be kana asem enti yemfa no so ensiwo na yete wati wanu ma na yemampani no mu bia omo abatwam na bi so aba Yohane sonim Yohane nenyuma Yohane wa huoni pakro His Excellency John Dramani mama no abohura mabi so ati ase se o mampani asem na meka wodi aba monten so se otwedi amponyankopon ya adom a efiri enekoi na ne pempon so na nkasa eye Friday ne Saturday no atu din say National Cleaning Days eye Friday ne Saturday ana opani bedi djuma na opani de sa de ne ba ya ana afe uko oba Sante Regina Zubamo KMA boss ene omo ahyase de police fo ne soldiers fo ene namfikyire ne ade ene ye cheche nkrofo ne ade na mekohwe ya twere protocol mwase de the operation overcover uncover several sanitation officer across me can't say piwe ni o ka de akyere no ate ase wan na bia more fire urade yesu yakura we pa amagana entidia ne ya na oman mu enti me ka brofo ni nyina me keka bom ni ade nyina me di besuo me nsa obi asanse no enti zuba nsem o kan ni nyina wa ha sei na saade omu ye eye ade papa because Ghana no wan shamla wo ye pani na obedi so ni ebeto abatiaw ene ade enti no onye fa ne ma ngu kwamu a na ade yesre ma pani His Excellency John Dramani mama ne se ade omu ba be ye omo ma ne nso ha enye sikadie emenu atolof emeche emfa mo omu afefo enkodi metena fie eyese ye continuously na to aso na ade ni timeboa na ya Ghana hampanifo ne de chese odwene ho a onti ase da bia oba ho anhwe ya ubedi atem ansa no akọ because bebre na omuntimi reason they are indecisive omuntimi nwene enti before Africa ya mpanifo no ombedwene na adisa ato ranchem asi ana ato ranchem bi ato obi awu obi ayesei ansana pani bi atu anamo ene yenya nsuo ma ne to okrom a ema nipa wu ye di bibi kura by said National Sanitation Day ana se memne da bia san to be collected si ekoye nhyiamudi akoplepra krom ewom akona wieye faso obi amaso akwa kogu enu ni kogu wieye no ye wo ha ye se eye national eye cleaning ye de ene blofo de krom ade opi omo amote blofo a eye African wo mote blofo so sabe krono ekọ wiase nyina no no omode bo enti ya se o pe bibi de asie bibini a wo de memfansi wa enti se cleanliness na ni ade no His Excellency John Dramani mama se Friday ebai ene ne memene da ana se adwuma de ne bekoso na me ne okasai ukwa NPP fo akachi a Justin Frempong Kodua ukwa abefo ntentane so a wo de krata bi aba beto na krata no okotu ye article bi ewo mamenko ayinim na mintimi enkotu ne yie emfa emawo emu nsɛm no nyinaa ne sɛ nyame yɛ adom a ɛyɛ memene da ɛbai ɛne ne Sunday ɛyɛ constituency election na ɛbɛkɔ so no constituency executives ne election na ɛkɔ so no ɛno ne kɔ na wie yɛ pa wɔse deɛ September 19th September 2026 wɔse deɛ delegates conference ɛbɛkɔ so ana ɛbɛba so ɛwɔ yɛ man Ghana ha nti after this election ya ɛbɛkɔ so ɛyɛ memene da ne ne kwasiada ɛyɛ constituency executives election na ɛbɛkɔ so no ɔmo wie a conference bi so ebeko so wokotu dey article 10(1) of the NPP constitution ana Justin Frimpong kodua ekotu ya wode abeto so ebrepam no mekom na makenkan ebi enso de amaw enti weye intro afi ne yebekom na video bi ene ana me hu se Ibrahim Mahama nua ene Kennedy akompra kwa Japan omo achiam na omo cheche omo na comment egugu ase no wo besra ma na eskafo ni eskafo ahia na Kennedy ede ne chest pem Ibrahim Mahama no ono so de ne die bom oh na efe dodo na enkrofo bebre comment ya wase obi se na Kennedy adai afede Ibrahim Mahama de nam so obey adai na mokura mo ya de amoma ne nya fesa enti sabi Ibrahim Mahama ene Kennedy akompra kwa Japan enti nkomo nkasa na asese atiefo video ne wo ha ai no so ye behwe wa ase ya efe yie papa enti weni mu ni afoforo pi ene eka ho ene enumrei menimi producers extraordinary producers wo mo de o mu nsinso mu ansa na o mo aham accurate information de o mu benya no sa pepepe na o mo de asoa na kedua na me nso media ba me di chia me wo ho amana ye fa adwuma no uye na uye ni yia eye de se Ghana dwumadie no udi na wo ka no kra unya hwe eso saa ne yepe yapagya yensa e de akire otwedi amponyankopon Yesu se adwuma bia wo beje se wo ye no ye ne se de wo yam wo no twedi amponyankopon na se de Ghana ha akristofo ye 70% na sabi wo mu aka so eye 30% no enam se me ye Kristo ni nti no Kristo se aduma bia na ka edua wo befasa wo ye no ye ne se de wo yam wo twedi amponyankopon na no de wo ya onfa libilibi labalaba esem bia emfa nkɔ ho na mmom me kama adwene se de ma adwene no me ka se de beboa ye man Ghana na afa ne ntampafra enti video ne nsɛm amakai ni intro ni ade amaye ni nyina ye hwie ni nyina bubo videos ne ade ni nyina hwie ye hwie ahoma no mebia tum na so aba so na so aba no aba abɛkyerɛ wadwene weye ama Ghana ensem sɛdeɛ ɛteɛ no ye ka ne sa ye mfa bi enka ho afei ene ensem no ye nkomwe Greater One Studios wada no magira so mam before amekɔ ɛyɛ nkom hya hodo a aba sɛ Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bamia entimi ni president wo krom a adifuoi atiefo ebia na woni ye man Ghana ha wo obi man so ana wo ye man Ghana ha se a mekanfo adwuma kuo ba ko de ma hyew ntantam ne yakɔ yanim we kasatenti bi anim Greater One Media na mekanfo ma ye ye na wo ye birthday na wudie Mr. Father Greater One Media omo asoro bo bi a mo wo soro okotokoro ka soro a omu yi de braw hwehwew saa de braw enti omo no omo ho na da bia omo ye hot cake no omo dwumadie so de accurate bibia da na kwam camera no ye wona sort nyina wo ho no mo de so Steven ne de bi si na bati ne bi si na gongon ma me first speeding recovery ema yanka se ye producer kwadwo ba bia wo bia ye chechew nyankopon hira no onya okase nyame besa wo yale no aba beka ye nya ntia se wo wife kra besla ti wa me ma nuane adia ne ade ho mutirim yamdo mu de mutimi nya ga wodomo na yen yenko ya asam so enye enkom ema nkom ne bedi hwe ba bia me nenam kedua pekasa o entimesra o birthday na wudie abedin to na woto wa wo ba ne ho ofe ene ade ukuru di ni siesie mesra o oboa yire no kamna mu obu a wonu abewo no oboa wode ube siesa wamfa na ma kamna mu amu obi ahu na wonu obi fofra wo to yes kofa Greater One because ya no fa ye wiase nyina hu bi enti se wo wede na wo ye onsa nkrofo timi ewia sika ne ade ebe ye wede ne ade no wadwane to onyu oba bi sa no oya kode oba opese ochi ukunu hu se wonko an odo wa fa beda Greater One Media because no de ye twa ewia se nyina wo bia hwa bi enti ukunu no so wadi ka wo anu abefa abosi ya che no wani age enkofa sem bia emfa mananse obi ya mibi medefa ha ya che no kasa ne wa pick number na edase no niem na mekọ mo asa oyiwa yenkom Ghana nsem yenko Ghana nsem ensem sisi o was the NDC will make a big mistake asiedun katia wai onsa me kachi asiedun katia se abra mu bontoa afimpim mienu ene aduenu na yabato mu kwa ye omudi nkunim me kachi eye asiedun katia se asiedun katia me pacho so obedi president wo krom ha sase ka nokre was e froko anam se asama mu kan e de asamba bra wa ankasa o si free wako me de nam gina se ho etinensa wo tutu nyina me kan minim so woteo sa no wontieo anu ma me reply you afi wo peja nensa was 24 hour economy na eba no Ashanti region mu amu be ya adwuma na adwuni nyina no mo light bo ebe kofom na onim abra okasa na nkrofo bo mu nsam na me nsa twam etro nie obi se frɛ okɔ nam se o makama no atum na nankwam shaba se Johnson na se edun katia ana mo be present no 2028 na mo be report one Dr. Laj Mahmood Bamiya nyina the value is the same pepepe odifo be na ekasai ensam ne dem so ba gina ha men kɔ ba bia ya pack na sorti ana me de bro odifo power man says so power man no says so the prophet power man ana wo ka sensem we yentie ne nsam na emla owia ensam na afina na kase no enyina ewa ase to bo ase ne tie yen enye yese tie ne kosi na wo kwa wahu se na na ka eduase ende obetimi aka aha eya accurate information ana me de ma yentie odifo no komsha odi ababonten no emla sisi ai
Soon we are there. Wow, to us obey president, you can be a president in Ghana.
Okay.
That 1 year for sure.
Okay.
But this year,
a year 2029.
2029, only no home film. Mon says Kababri because my NPP for the Sharaf Mahama Krejina Obemini.
And is it?
Oh yes.
Mo de Mahama ban crab Obemini.
Yes. Na unim ehinta sam kese bi tawie mu Ghana fo hu. Mahama ebuhwe mu ho no. Wa hwe bi na president mienu ho.
Okay.
The one who's a Ghana for TM Ibrahim Mahama. Ghana for TM friend so mo person be di Ghana so. Oh yes. Ghana for TM. I no so pe Ghana for na channel. Ghana for TM friend no. Asama mi be kai modu.
Get you.
NDC for aje se dun katiatum. But on my Ghana, Ajiji was the bratum.
NDC.
Aji se bunkatia atum.
Okay.
And on my Ghana, Yajiji was the bratum.
And you say, yet you are. That's what Mampini Mahama say. Kubio. Let's NDC for Ajima Amaje. Seeding Katia to me, young papa to me. That's a young papa seeding Katia no more than a baba. That is almost about winning.
I am mistake as here NPP for by NDC for by because I am a share party. You are mine.
Okay.
I said, don't get that is about me. I say, Canadian Japan.
Therefore, at therefore, near for and some of our Sukroma 2028. Hey, now at therefore, so much you swear. There will be no election in 2028. And I'm saying, "Bay, eba some deben kum election mazu 2028 said yankoni enti odi for na some katwa so."
And then young papa Julius Debra at Trinity. Obisi finance minister ato force at Trinity. Obi cross the vice president J Nana at Trinity. Obisi young papa Johnson a seeding Katia at Trinity. Obisi young papa Joshua Alabi at Trinity. Being a prophet of God, Dr. Powerman. Why the NDC ba? Why no be win NDC election?
Anyway, dear Tiana say akonya no ekuta President Mahama as I'm talking now.
Edasukuta no.
Edasukura President Mahama in spirituality.
Okay.
And say Ghana for and you're on Bompire. Now, other opposition for one Bompire. Ghana 2028 and Twaba. Yebe Twaba Crab 2029.
And that is any Awokano. Should say Omampeni Mahama na besako.
Obetwaso for 5 years, and Nas Obeko for 3 term. Because in the realm of the spirit, ya 2 we are 2 years. Akunyani change. Ekodi obia obe lidi or minor answer. And on your friend said changes of government in spirituality.
Okay.
Adena then assessor. Now soon we are so there was a protocol be a dawa. No president in Ghana with me break except John Dramani Mahama.
Of our members will break that protocol.
Because Mahama is not a politician. Mahama is a pastor. Mahama nye politician. Mahama ye won say omeye nyamidi for.
Okay.
Omeye suffocasie ema my Ghana. Sani a woko other countries a ye wa sofo penifo bit say Pastor Christ money are the own so much jijidi. That is Mahama born by
on the line no.
Yes. Entino na ewurade pese on my Ghana eda na koma so na ewurade po bi obetimi ejina de ama on my Ghana.
Okay.
Entino ewurade hwehwe mu na no na ekoto President Mahama so. Enti Mahama kraka say enya ade a obeba ba ye politics. Because now the papa is a politician.
Okay.
And Mahama Castle may politics because already nobody can start for assemblyman and MP and stuff and we jai. What I say? 81 Abra Akwenja Beda was a Omeye vice president in Fema Atame or Senona Ed Tenema President Mahama.
Okay.
Because now en Kana Jane was over by a president at the Ama or my Ghana. But what must you I him from penninphobia and in penninphobia who connect us in a bopo. Otumfo ka ho.
Okay.
Otumfo ka ho. Evis a free anchor. Evis a free anchor e ka ho.
Okay.
The empanimfo bi na tena ase na ye meeting. And ya de Mahama ebe ye vice president e de Matamels.
Okay.
Enti min spiritual no Mahama enye ono ane pe e na de be ye president e wo Ghana.
Okay.
Enti sa wo be hwa oba no ade bia ye sunsumu apam bia no that man have already break it.
Atiefo ensam ni bi anososo eti esasrasi John Dramani Mahama nyamede ne baye ana de oye ni o John Dramani Mahama nyamede ne braye no oman Ghana ye hira no ani ato ne sabofo ede na basa aseso no onu mponi o na tiefo sa to aso biem ye to aso na before ye be ko odifo ne de so no mahum se edom kuma a wo mna hye bedwamu no omo de press conference bi ahyehyɛ so efa 350 million Ghana cedis bi ho a afa amfa mrakwan so nia release se sika no edom kuma no aye press conference e de afa ho ti producer apese video no e de ato producer mdase fa no to stamba mame ye ko odifo no asem ne so odifo power man ya sa ato aso biem se Dr. Laji Mamudu Baumia so obetimi adi president wo krom a minti minka mono anka na ade enti producer yentie numra
will never be a president. Se Baumia betimi e break protocol so there was a spiritual covenant to be a duabo bi da NPP so mentimi ankohwehwe se nimpa no anaso odifo bi ma na enye mfiri so a NPP party na nya kono da
duabo ben no
ye wo difo bi a wewu ye fra no difo kobnata wi a church of Rabbi no owo fanko sa difo no the NPP flag ekufado flag Bawumia flag ene Samia Ewuku flag or the wesie or the nantwie or the jatum wase esie nso osie wi ya nteso no wu ye
Church of Rabbi.
Yes. Wadomi MPP na nsema okai na aso ye adwuma whereby ya MPP wa power ni aso abapa ne kan no is happening in this order ya 2020 ya ba 2024 na MPP voice ball no omugina park na omu hu baby omumbo ball ne mfa because sunsumu na bibi koso
adenti na baba say so force madomi we ma say bibi dentia
me patron ehinta sama wo mu ne say whether you like it or not ye wo sunsum wo ho sunsum ye adwuma so obitina baby ka kire say sunsum ye adwuma or dada
okay
wafa say wo ko nyame difuo bi nchen na say nyame difuo no eye bibi ma na ukosebo na ade ani bam na wan fa wende wo bose so a do you think that person will be in another some of the canon yuma? So what did to me born in or the juma? So what you suma? So what the wine or the near juma? You need to respect the altar because Abra will pay to me no. We who quine a quadran altar so possible.
Okay.
But as yet, sir, on your be added now call. Into Moko yana kunumudia by no. Sabe. Ensuo kakra mo de be ma nanom mo fa ma nenom
okay
no no so hu sa anya ye mpo no so the one city mpo no de ya kwanchere to fom a waboa party no enu ti na party se mo ba power e ma mo wie mfi edifo a ekoma mo because enya easy o ofa me no ka se mi ka sunsu mo nyoma ye fa mu kira wa ne emu attack ene emu cause threat ne ade e ba ye so a because I would say nkom na nkwa ama MPP a e was say MPP fans got like almost suspected like
almost solitude.
That is it, like almost to me comment ni ade a you receiving you kind comment because oni nkom se no koma ba omia NDC for be do atem e koma MPP a NDC for be ba koma NDC MPP be ba inti ya bre
that is munja information
that be nyame dia soman what is here dia won ne nam no waja na soman
okay
wo be da na wonko
samo
atiefo enu 2028 ne de ye behu nsam o na nkwamhye ne ye hye ko ba bia sika wo ama Ghana na wonim wo hye se nkom ne wie ya na obi de Sunday me se asam asofo ne ka no okọ NDC fo akachi a video bi apia bonten se NDC fo asie nantwie a yade MPP flag achechire nantwie na no ane ye de credo na me se chese Ghana de baye de chese amanyo na ye no yesa de baye aka ho adura baye no ahya ne kaba na sabi tumi na wo pe no me tiase hwe video bi eba wo yatimi achechire according to video ni munsam no memo atie video ni munsam no asan me kasa fa ho a makasa fa ho unim video no na ntwi a yasie no ne ye de credo enipa tirimo den aw boni bepa ede bepa na ekoso ewo ye wiase ye man Ghana Africa ede betumi nkoa ne ye pe ede be mo nkoa na mo pre mo ho mo betumi di aba according to video no yasie na ntwie amonamono ni yasie na ntwie no ane ye de flag MPP flag abo na ntwie ne ti ane ye de grado kese bi o ane ye de awura boa ne hunim ane ye de abeso na no ane ya kasim ane ya tu safoa awurade Yesu bone bay moba so amuntimi nya hwe enti saadi amaye nyamena sam amaye abaisam amaye wo bepe Ghana di so na modi nyamesuro enti na enema bi esisi Ghana tantantan ya adwiri nyina sai ya adwiri nyina ya fo tantantan emo adwene nko na wait because yensie moa ni ye di nipa nyina da ase wo krom ha amanyofo etimi di nipa nyina tumi a ye penti ya yenti bonkoso a yentimi reason e wo krom ha no nyina no chese ya chichiri bebre na adwene omo ba MPP ni NDC by now yesu obi ye MPP ni wo sheduro so wo ne dia wo ya ne se mahama mfeli ana ma NDC fo so akwa duro so ana omo so ye ma MPP fo nyina remfian me Ghana fo nyina remfi de ye na sade be ya ho be yakono wo ye ba ye sei ena de ge be ba ye enti de base fo monko pa sofo na as ewiase ehu na producer wo de before MPP fo enkomhye we ba bonten ane ese se ensam na ekoso ni ade nyina no se message no edika kwa NDC for MPP for ansa na nkwamhye no eba bonten enti ye ya na ukopiem wo eye Upper East region honum a ene amatofo atentene wam de obo wasum ene ye ukwada yosidabi ene ye brada wase ene ye ukwada se na ye brada se nkrofo ni bi akesefo mo ageme ene omo ayeso ani ni ti producer meba but before ebe kwago say video no on omo busa se Kennedy akompra kwa Japan Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia no running mate wanye Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen yema no running mate wanye na sem bia kwa Ghana ha de e woni pa e kokwosoe no abrantia bi ye friend Ziga wasi enti Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen wanye running mate e wo Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia side na Kennedy so wanye running mate no enti the base one mokwa wan be ye running mate anam so yiwa na ansane yaba vigilante NPP fo gu na NDC fo de omso omungunu no ne yaba be di eno so wonkomo video wa pia bonten 2028 de the base mu lezi mu butuo na momo de ne yene na mu no ya nhyɛ da hu amatwofo atentene wam ne saa ho timo de amodeka obi message odeba obi dia odeba say ma menka we am dey too much was say Ghana is a joke country pao listen to the prophecy Ghana de ampa ma me mom nsam just say odwene ho a won tiase producer yentie Ziga video no emla the base one yam running mate na one edi animu Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen ne Kennedy akompra kwajapo yentie emla ne metie vigilante for omo aye bedu omo se 2028 omebo MPP ho ban yentie omo so asem omo camera producer yentie emla
now me ye permutation bi mentiase me pe se nkofo bo na metiase wuti abrantie tie ne you se base any movement and I say UP Boma ada Jokopia say ebo beba beka ho ada ifo beka okay that's fine eye dey abaku be lead beboa bako be running mate beboa okay good ya baba to about 2012 2014 2003 NDC NPP for primaries presidential primaries we had an intel within NPP say for peace they wanted Dr. Bawumia to lead the Alan to become a running mate. Tienio. And Alan Kyerematen rejected it. Alan rejected it. Okay. Ya two abadu we ya no 23 no call call presidential primaries. Dr. Bawumia winning. Canada Japan had 39 or 37%. They realized that the man commanding a lot of following in the NPP. They make a right to say that time now Alan Kyerematen has left the party, but we're told that Canada Japan was offered the running mate, but he rejected it. One Tibina. He said it. Okay, some programs to say he's not ready to be second fiddle to anybody because on Timmy and yet they ain't taking instructions, and that's what Obubia didn't now reject a running mate. To Dr. Bawumia, who's leading a political party where a serial winner of elections in this country, New Patriotic Party. You rejected it. So why do you have to reject it? And be a second fiddle to Alan? I don't get it. Why do you have to reject a running mate to Dr. Bawumia and be a second fiddle or running mate to Canada Japan? I don't get it. Because day also about the belly. So how you gonna say obi anye running mates? Jamaican what I say Baku will lead. So how will Alan Kyerematen will sit down for Canada Japan to lead both base and UP together? They catch a running mate, the Alan will sit there. Who appear on the ballot paper? I don't get it. How will the whole thing move? The Alan will appear on the ballot paper. Where Canada Japan will be with the base. Pay on play any major role. Mentiasi. Yasem sebe. Etie fo fan kwa dwundwinimu say obi obete political party biano eye botaye bi and odete outside NPP and NDC. Botaye and the botaye no enough to win the election. Now, Ura Canada Japan. We have a lot of Canada Japans in this country. There's only 2 Canada Japans that we know are over this country. One, a sports administrator, the businessman Interplast Ura Canada Nana Japan. Jamaica what I say, and you will Canada Japan. Now this is my message to Canada Japan, the politician. 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Canada Japan ni enimno. Ye bok Canada Japan ni enim eye the campon.
chese enkwamhye ne ba bonten yesese enkwamhye we sofo no edi kan allergy o me de mo mfa asem bia mehye me o mete wo medwene me ho ana ne yebekun ana madome ho ana maye o sei mo mfa mo no me ne bia ba me mpe no me bia o me life mu mo ma me meye die nyame se me meye na me nko me ba bi mo na mo se mbaye mo nsantre adwuma atwitwa toro me de me ni mo ho adaje meti ai me kura me evidence ene me bibia na me de ba na sofu ya utie nu yasese wo hya nkom na MPP for tete ho ana mo se sa chese mo abuati ana musie sade be ya ye hu mu kura ye babu ye yan ye hu 2028 ene sa na te de a yeso vigilante na mu gu no emfie bi atwa na mo de treke yen na mo de baji tu me bro ye no yeso anyansa etimi no kasai ukopie mu ewo eye upper east regional MPP fo ewo honum kai amatofo atentra wam ene ono de odeshi yase aduro bi antimi no se ndisi fo so mo asi abo a ba wo de boaboa no de ne kakra bi na yentie mu voice no ansa no makobo vigilante fo de no enya vigilante mesrem eye nkrofo mo be de wom na mo abeba mo ho ban 2028 ti mesrem vigilante de mo agu ne dada na mo se omo asua nyansa wo mu tire sense NDC fo angu omo de ana omo dada MPP fo ana omo gu omo de ana omo beto hye omo so ti we de omo asua nyansa na omo de nsem bi tudwa ba aboa na NDC fo asie no de krado asha aboa no e de na hye fom e de ayi ye ka ne sei MPP flag aboniti mo amo beti mo samia ade mo ba mo mobra musumani abre e twitwa mo amuna producer amsro bo se aboa ne de na ansa ne aba amatwofo ne de ne so
Kiso no no. Essa flag, na flag né? Você é MPP flag.
Scama tem como flag.
Flag nem MPP flag. Essa é a cor da cura. Ei, falou que a cracapa na dá não sabe. Quando a frente desse eu, a semente, na bona na wabe.
For atiefo ewiase areho papa ewiase ope oman a omo hu omo bo no omo ya baifo baibon sanfo sabe memfa de na enka ho biem abaifo asia so from 1992 Kwame Nkrumah peso abepem sa abre ya yetiti wo mesem se 1992 Kwame Nkrumah beje wo man si wo no abepem sa abre yetimi ayre aye ho abro saa Ghana na wo ba ha se ya anka producer ade faboa ne to nchen kakra ma me faboa yes me da se pa nyamenhira won to nkwanam ga wo benya no producer nyamenhira ya adwuma ne sa omo arefo ne sa wo bo adwuma atiefo me producer we wo bo adwuma se na ntwe ya oda hoyi atiefo enti sabi enye nkurasesem ane yeye ana mamboyfo ana wudifo nkwasiafo agimifo numu bi ene di Ghana so ane abrabo aginjan aye tantantan se ya enti beye den ane watimi adibone sei unua ne MPP unua ne NDC ukosie aboa ede na hyefom na aboa na wusie ne so wo de krado ato aboa na no awurade Yesu oh lack of knowledge my people perish rade masu me hanki ne wai momla me hanki eya me yasa me free oman Ghana eya me yasa me free oman Ghana eya me yasa me free oman Ghana awurade huyamabo wai awurade huyamabo akohwifo ya sabi omudidi amanwa kuachi edu omuafu bedi akire ense hunu se ya na omudie no watimi kosi aboa ede hanki MPP flag echechire na no na de krado ni kra bibini abibifo enti ebedi ho abro se ya enti hesasase John Dramani mama said the Ghana for kan ebinim se ya me kasai ya chechire no enti sabe momfa ncha me language yo tu bedi so a ensem hunu nko a wo be unsa president no ache na ira ahyedem no ahwe na fine president na ire to kakraka no ofa nkura enye onu aw mewra ho enye ono a wobon se etuo bi obekwa akofa no etuo no kura achim enkenye eso enam se yade mo ahyehefo matintim mo adwene anti emo adwene na na ewuom no odi akire akura yi honya kono na president emo minister emo ana mo because yasiesie omo adwene no wo mo ada wo mo wana born we medical rade just had your producers na de medical was wo mo ada wo antigana fo ye dede bebrebe na we kra so fu bi say Friday ensuo ye yiri bebrebe ansa na John Dramani mama edi we bai wotumi akase ye be ye clinic ni ade ni na asofo no mu bi edi aba say omo ko hye dem busumi nie mesmensa busumi kedi wani ni asem ohu too much ade for fa chame kasa tenten omo so omo ahye dem na wotwini ana omo abompa ya ene kwan na bie tudu omo te anse kesasensi John Dramani mama bofo bi kache no mama nyame ya adoma Friday ebai ene ne Saturday meslaw ye clean up exercise nam say ya asofo mo so mo ho nwanwa ti asofo ne bompa ya mete anam say enye nwanwa so omo so omo bompa ye bibia tuafri hisasansi John Dramani mama ekosoro na iraye nam say ebai na tiefo ye nyai adwene de ye bekwa kwahwe so fra me nya finam de pan kosimiti abra num defo wo Ghana ha atoto drawo ayimu nyina nyam na me kohwe ami akwa enti mesraw hwe video ayampanifo eniema omoye timi di abo ahya fom edi oyonko epatia wono se wo build edi abechechiri ya man Ghana no de basefo modi amompa difo akase o ba bia yesa muwura no muwura na se eniema wei ana ekoso wo ya man Ghana ha mo hwe am party no omba chechire mo aboa ne homobo na chese nipa nyame betua nipa ka o nyame obetua nipa ka o etiaba adenko na aboa ne kuni plakwe wotimi di aboa hye fom ade hanki achechire ni ti ade credo awurade Yesu bibini su ye nipa awurade fache Ghana why fache Ghana no afa nche o man Ghana sadi we pa awurade abua due na menue ti NPP enti sense hunu amudie eni sabe yasoma mu amonko wosuma NPP ni cap ni nesu okofa bla no akofa chalk NPP ni communicator wonim se wo ba no asem wo beka no ebetosum wonim MP we pa se nyansasem wo ka nyansasem foke wo tenasia Ghana fo mo beto amontomaye monto yeso monko enti se ya chechire o Brad Yesu o my Ghana pa me wura ho na me ye ne sa no atiefo ne ahwefo am hwe nyame anim nokore wo ye MPP ni na wo ye NDC ni na se dwuma wo die ni se wo de aboa na ntwie bekọ akwahye fom na de credo ahye na no na de ne flag a chechire se de be ya wo chechire wo hu nyame betwetwa amka o enti se ya na mudi bepetumi a yetumofo wutimu se opapa ti asem wode ne ho kodwane MPP no ukasem bia wonte opapa kodwane NDC ukasem bia wonte wono maami akwa unnecessary fight MP wo bu ne ho ya gentle wo MPP wo ba fie otimi hwe ne yiresum se wam say achechire o mo adwene bebre ho a mo mfa nche o enemitie we ya na mkache producer se mba mesre mo bompa ya mo bi ma ye mfanifo no na eniema o mo ya o mo ho no nwanwa ya hwe ya ye nko ya nim atiefo enti nkwamhya ne ba ye na MPP 40 ya no mso kwaduro mo kase ye ne yagimi ye kofa vigilante ba ye ana mugu ni wokroma se poto ye hu ya nsa NDC fo mafa kire sese mo se akekire ene amatwofo we mu de ya ba mo ho ka yie ane ye de o mo ba o mo so abina o mo ho yie na ye nti amatwofo afedi amatwofo no ye sua ye ye o mo swearing in awurade Ghana ye mo bo producer bo se video ni mame ni enhwemla bo video ni mine
just recent ended election I witnessed it. You see, our security numbers are very few as compared to the voters. So sometimes you need this kind of private security or political parties to also help in helping deal with the security situation during elections. So it's very, very important. It's very important. The only difference is the training that will give it to them. So this is just young people trying to help the party in our up and coming election. I want other groups to be created in other regions. And let's not forget, if we get this kind of groups, it will prevent the opposition party from harassing other parties. So this is also like the security. And we all know, if they talk of security, in our phones we have security. If you are going to sleep, at the end of the day, you lock your door. It's a security. So this is also security to protect the party, right? To protect the party from miscreants or those who want to misbehave in the party.
The Lions of NPP, a security youth group, has been launched in the Upper East region. The 42-member security volunteer group seeks to strengthen security and support the activities of the new patriotic party ahead of the 2028 elections. The group, which draws its membership from constituencies across the region, was inaugurated under the motto, "Be bold to do the right."
Just recent ended election, I witnessed it. You see,
therefore, we a NPP for so amatwofo a omo build we no omo ni bone omo dia ne se omo so bebo omo party a NPP no eho eban na me ba be ka asem bi dia kirew na asem a me be ka no eho hia me pa enkrofo bebre kan sem bebre okroma ana Canada nya hwe obekọ a wonko ene mesra mo a pesa mo fraba so ni na number no me ba ma na mabowe na makama asem tam ne so ne ebie etum a me pa cha sisia de hit ne da so wom enti sisia obefre 05 yellow number na eda ho no mamenka ne sa yellow number na eda ho no eno na wo pese ofre ba obefre de aba WhatsApp na no manko no afra ba ne yafa ne ene wadi nkomo e wode yadi nkomo ya yadi enyina no de opese oka bia no afre na de aba so sa na unim enkrofo bebre di nkomo wa ba before ye beko no yentie Samira Baumia I think say ensem video we de omo kan ho asem bebre the base for guys no address Samira Baumia say at least woye warefo oba warefo enti de we a wo hye ntade e chekire no ene ade ni kru Baumia wono ane ba say ewiase nyina Baumia na tikwa etisi obi anim ne na ho etisi obi anim ni kru de otene so anu asori nti wo mo say anka wanya Baumia wie ne de anka dressing bi ni ade bi wo ato bi nam se ebei oh eso men kwa ma dwen kire me yedai ba akofo akohu me yedai koka yentie the base for message a ema no omo ma Samira Baumia ansa ne abebo Canada video bi ewo ha
donation nti nka wo ha ne se nka Dr. Baumia ne doyere eye oba penye Samira Baumia nka bebia nyame apege na akoduru no nka wonfanya adoye enya ise wode beye ne ho se meto bag onfanya adoye na onyai se wode beye ne ho se wode to bag akese ne mpabo akese ne Ghana fo se be wo ware wi a senya tutu na ababo wo wuku na chi a nka ehu nya se nka obesiesie hu bebre wo beye kunta because nke awale pato timi wo ware se wawade awie no enye tutu na abebo a eni kwan se nka dabi o ne no sa no Dr. Samira ana ye kan ho asem se ada na ni gibe ma foforo bi hunti na yese osiesie no homa ne ye ekosa such of level say wo beto bag 2.5 billion what the clear to su be ma wo pen wo man no awie nti be ma be na wo se akopɛ ne bia ma senti yese wo kɔtɔ sa bag ne sen mi bi sa wo na be ma be na wo se apɛ ne bia de na ka wo kunu no Muslim mlamu no be ma wo ho kwan se o ware du but wo ba de wa ware ya ba kunu ba ko so wukunu wari du a wutim kwa wari obi meka wukunu no ho da Muslim la yetia ba bia na bo live de pe ba be ma oh eno de bebre e ma no sabi bebre e bo life e de pe mema eni ye wo sabi wo ba nsusu a sabi odwene se oh ma wari awie se mi nkope be ma bia mi hwehwe be ma bia wo mabra bom na momo no mi sika aka me de beboa me ma na me de bia boa abontensofo ye wanu nso wo ho eti menua ba Samira yesrew wo pese ye de o ma ne hye wo nsam a 1 de edi nkan fabuo ma Ghana fo
2 the etos mienu jani ma kese no toto
na se wonye economical
na ye economical ye local woman
yonye local na wonya akono
na no mo se makoka bibi se John Dramani Mahama yere ya maami lodge na mama sabe wo free ampoma jam bibi hwe ya papa Canada Japan yere wo
atiefo eno ne ya futu a eye de base fo no mu bi mani bi de base fo mani bi e de Masamila Bawumia se Dr. Laji Mamudu Bawumia ana wo so do na na chini nanim obia ni ho no a we ndress said ye sabe wo se kopo obi foforo e wo ba bi nam se asem bebeda bi na atiefo abo ani tini de eno ane ye de befa course no ne ade ba producer video de more e wo ha a ye bobo e de ma na atiefo National Sanitation Day anase National Cleaning Days no Friday any Saturday no Zuba Oba Ashanti Regional empanifo the measures bi agwo no mo awura mfikyire akwa chichi nipa bi a omo afam na kwaso na ablante baako ne gwatamu pa enema egu ene ade efie egu ne ade a wodam na mansine wura dan ni wotumi da na bi kunanum ne anam se bei mukura mo ma yewura ho ade bi wani ukwase ye de ba ne ye de ba gwatamu di aye pa ne ade no enye yize adefo yentie ne mra na opportunity na ntwenity no kano de ode to nche mamia kabaya me de pa but wo de yentie Zuba yenhwe Zuba mo de no omo kɔ to ne ade no yenhwe no no emra sisi ai yenhwe no no mra yentie omo sam na omo kɔ to ne
Ago you can all be inside forever omo yeah, come.
From game on new road. That's why I came. You have been here for some time now. Yeah. How long is it going to take you to do this? I just came. Workshop, bra. Bra.
Ago, you can all be inside forever.
Atiefo nyame jasa Ghana de minim yeso mamenka se minim yeso akohwifo ye ni yehuni ye mpanifo nya ade ya bombon ya adwene ni bebre nya adwuma ya adwene ya di na ntwe hihye fom de sa de beba ni enwura no obi a ya kyekere ye mpanifo adwene na ye de ene se ye de omo aye de na hasemo atiefo ba menu ba be di enkomo bi ba facha me se video no me ye ne se anwonafo asa me de frefra ne sa de ma facha me wadaroma facha me next time e ma ne sa biem yensan go back to NPP na me fa Canada akompra kwa Japan asem bi a wo ka ye enkrofo twa na dapa no ene opani bi akase me wura ho na ma mentie Kennedy asem wei emra metie wi a na afedie yaba aponchene so no opani bi so asem de nti omkosie aboa no metie opani nam se dada na we bibisa yentie Kennedy voice wemra yentie Kennedy voice wemra
we are see G Rollins in yet Rollins in 1992 the last day near rally no mi kurum ana insuato me papa no onim car ana me de Mercedes Benz that are a friend Barracuda am de ma me papa no so shishi kakra ukotu car na oban na o matwa kwan so na nsuo ni toto no eho slippery o panicking na o tia break ni so ato na car no esama so to when we say politics inti me kuro mpo we jubilating say me car ahwease because me the MPP about asin dump that is how bad so because can Japan loud mouth na onya hwewo MPP mu na ne ho
yamra contribution why the entire party where we constituency there
good from asin first candidate just Samoa I funded it second apple now obi a nipa mienu a me on credit back wawu honorable Kwame Battles and Teresa Tego
okay
number survey asin and wherever they went they say why be from America what they know about winning and they didn't believe it said 13,700 there
as emuwa
better not to winning but now my green so apple and for the second term and he was sincere said no I didn't the okwenye and on per situation on this Canada is relying on me to in Tiania Memenko.
Okay.
So he gave me chance to go. Now me support no. And honorable Kwame Battles and it is a table a bar. Tomba no see savage I say I can win the seat in Timenko. So I give credit to honorable Kwame Battles. Said me my MP for 6 consecutive terms. Or no, and I bear encourage me say I'll win the seat. Or my best survey, they just say I'll win. That is how come I became an MP or parliamentary candidate for Asin. Ne Asin North. Today Central and North we together. Enti me buy the year 2000 Central region kwa me momu 15 pickups. Across the country President Kufuor Breso ebi okra wonim say I gave them pickups because why it is important for Ghanaians to know the year 2000 and he said now Obiesro Rollins although he was going to hand over to President Mills everybody was afraid but I donated pickups to Central region
not threat to be also
now me no American man say threat you and come here threat everywhere I get it but I was bold and defended it. Maybe we had the threat now maybe.
Okay.
The MP no quit before not threatening about. But maybe MP no hold it. Maybe and the way I will see G Rollins in yet Rollins. In 1992, the last day.
Therefore, we put to prove my men stop Kennedy Diana how mesrao put to prove and Kaibobia Abasisiano. Oh, a rade. Oh my Ghana crowd, assembly of Betibiana just say, hey, a rade, then cosui. Nadia Yachari Adrid and Chiachari. A bed then at Sabi Nipan you. Oppression be Aquasu was a she. A nipa a police for alleged say, or more some oh rade. Oh, producer Medase, therefore, read a month phantom say, ye dim como. Ewo Kennedy side MPP, but put to prove. And come Abani say, breaking news cry. Say a tutu will be Aquasu was a shia. A police for shoot to nipa be alleged. See a shoot to nipa biama, a binima moje 2 binimoni adie. Producer and Timmy Fantos Baba Kwa, Yadia Diakatan soon ye bet me, ayena, ye bet ye moon seminal, oh, Radde. A Raddy who Ghana mobo white. A Raddy who am I Ghana mobo, oh. Yam penny force yen and cheer, ya police fo nyina o mo asie o mo adwene awurade Yesu alaje o mo mfa ncheme ene wo ya ne e be chew oh minsu da mewra ho oh enipa na awusa no na nipa timi di tuo hwe ne nia so tei bo oh awurade video ne das oh awurade oh but dia me hwe ne hwa me nko me hwe ne ha ne de mintimi mfa nto so oh emoja awurade Yesu hu nipa mobo ah oh na we ne de dabi producer we de o de to so kra anya yie enipa na awusa no dabi dia kan de mfa nto so na ade asembeba dabi chase yentie mu nsem no baba akone de entra mfa nto so ei moja na yentie mu nsem ne bra
plan se kan wa kona afum ena eni anum ne adofonum e da so se yisare anu asem asu ha na e de tumani a police form atumi ababe tututuo wa ha ababe kum nipa ahodo bebre aye ni bone a omo aye ye dwene wa ye ntiase ye ma me musu wa ha o e charge ajo because papa pahin a wanya 60 years a woko na afuom o kula ne sekan woko na afuom e na yetuo atumi aka no ama na hwere ne kwa e na anopai na ntini ye ti asem bi se ya enya asem de ye sremo ani diem yan timamufo na ye Ghana for na sese mutu boy ho ba na mpo se police for maba na monya information a munya evidence enteni kwan se tututu bia akwaso civilian bia ntutu wa ha de akwaso se hisare ano ene ye twade a kire mu na efunu ni da so da ha amunu da so da ha o police soldier bia ma ha se oba be den oba be boy ho ba wa ha da bi obi ama ha yenye safe eni kwan se kwaso safe da bi
for areho oh my Ghana nyame hu ye mo bo on fe bone nche na se se ye enipa nya ne nua no o ku na nwene hu
e da so se isare anu asema
ya sie na ntwie ti bede no adu ko bi to bra ayo ye tefo de o kwa aten de o ba aten ensem ni si ye any video bi a me e wa ha but the way etuo na asi abobi mamoja etu o no mo amani tua we de ye ntimi mfa ma mo nhwe but ensentwefo no bi ekopie ho no mo ane ye nuanim bi asende de ameyen ama ye sorry a ye kra ne ye break di afa ha aye wi a ye beto aso e wo ho no mesraw fa che ye paase ya paase di afa ha na ye wi a Ibrahim Mahama ene Canada akompre kwaja pa okoshia ye enkrofo kan nsem bi fa ho video ni wa me de bebroma ba video ya a police fo abobo ebinim tuo sahwi mpatam ho ana akwakosi yensan trefo ni bia mo de video ni bi sende yesisi ai ehwe ye hu se ye wo live ana mo de asende ai a yadofo ene ahwefo yeso ye de ma wenti na me ka che se usori a enkotietie baabi na bibia ba mo ntimi nkire mu mfama yenya pesam nkuminya ene enya ai no obi na enya ai no yemfa credit ma onua fo se omso de bi sende ai me pa cho yenhwe de course wo ho a ama ebinimu aprepra wu sa no
nipa me nsa na tu aka mo nipa num na tu aka mo me nsa na se omo de na me nu awu na ba ko se nya ntene nka so te aso wu ye woni nya ntene nka na me nu de I confirm so omo free yo ha no para na ablante ba ko lojuma wodi o ya store oton drinks mo na mo na anwa mo na no pa ye mpa info ni bi ko wura mu ye mu bi su ye ofie ni yati ya ne se ya ablante no police for me answer by omo nse police atade omo ba ho be ka se se oton chamo ama omo certain so ho nyina mo hu bibi sa omo ye no omo che ne so omo de ne ko ti omo de ne be kwa na omo fro omo police car na ba police car na ba omo de ne shemu no ene ya branch ba ko bi e police omo omo fa nko nti obi e police omo omo fa nko no mo tutuo ene branch na omo bi e police doje ye o fa yin bi e ofu ni fie o fa no ko na fu ene etuo ni ko shi aye ono de sisi am no kese on count as for ofrim eba ni sa na police for ede nipa na ma che ne ko no omo ko no mienu sifo no mo nam fom ba ku dia na obi ekuratu a na omo shitutuo nti tuo na mo gusu shutu no e ko ka ablante ba ko bo ne boso e ma tuo ni pie na chi ono so ne mu kese ofrim ablante ba ko so sa no ma ni otukro wa di ni juma o tini storm ama tuo ni ba ko ka na agu na ni yema ma ne so kra pie ono de esi am no kese de yɛnte ne nka sɛ ɔte ase wawu deɛ yɛnya nte ne nka yɛni aba baako so aboba ne bi kɔka ne nan a ɔno nso ɔte ase wɔwu yi sɛ wɔn ni na baako so aboba ne bi aka ne nsa a ɔno nso ɔte ase wɔwu yi yɛn nipa mmiɛnsa ɛna
atiefoɔ sahwi empatamu hɔ no mo ensɛm awerɛhosɛm a ɛkɔ no producer mesrɛ ɛnɛ awerɛhosɛm aba no sorry na aka no atiefoɔ wobɛtumi afrɛ na wode aba so but mame Kennedy ni Ibrahim Mahamade emu ensɛm no mempire fa video ne to so na fa nantwie ne deɛ no ana yenye kagya bi atiefoɔ wobɛtumi afrɛ aba so yellow number na ɛda hɔ no mo no kasa yaka sorry si ahodoɔ a yɛayɛ ni nyinaa no frɛ bra na bɛkyerɛ wadwene normal call WhatsApp call ebia yɛbɛfaw deɛ ɛkɔ so wɔ yɛ ma Ghana no ba producer fa nantwie ne deɛ ne to so mame fa to me nkyɛn hɔ no ma na obi frɛ ba ɔmfrɛ mra atiefoɔ deɛ ɛkɔ so wɔ yɛ ma Ghana no Ghana arɛho tambia bebre na ka bibini yɛ nipa bibini nso yɛ nipa ɛnneɛma bi a wobɛte afa Ghana ho biara no odwene Ghana ho a na woyam de wo hyew kromo anu mo ho sabe ewuo basa a ɛkɔ so ne adeɛ nyinaa yɛ politicians mmoa yɛn ankasa yɛn ho so woyi politicians ni free mu a yɛn ankasa yɛn areas ni adeɛ no yɛn ankasa yɛn mmoa yɛn ankasa ho Ghana yɛn ni ɛhu ni yɛ mu adeɛ yɛn ni ɛho hwee yɛ ntimi nya hwee ɛmfa me yɛn ho yɛn na wɔdoma nkoma Nyankopɔn totrobo nso ɔbɔ asoro ne asase wɔde adeɛ bie wɔ wiase bia adom yɛn ɛsoda bia yɛn hunu yɛn ho ano yɛn hu di adeɛ ɔde ma yɛn ɛso mfa so na bia wɔhyew ɛne aboro ne bayie ana ahye yɛn ma atiefo frɛ na bra so bi why Ghana yɛwie yɛn ni o yɛwie yɛ bɛgye ɔman na yɛ ɔman no yɛbɛyɛ ɔman de bɛsifoɔ deɛ maka kyerɛ mu sɛ mo mene mo ho ana mo ba ɛyɛ bɛta sɛ mo bɛsan because deɛ duro yi a nkurɔfoɔ yi esiesie nwan ɛne enantwie ɛnro saso dabɛy video no mintimi mo ne ha sei ɛno so yɛ mogya saa obi sɛ wasie nantwie nko amaako 32 wɔyɛ sɔfo na o expose wasie dun katia sɛ ɛnneɛma a wɔyɛ ama party no a wɔn ba power ɔmo yi ne boni ayɛ wasie nantwie maako ɛyɛ 32 busa sɛ ɔsɔfo deɛ wokosie nantwie 32 sɛ obi mra power ɛdeɛ bɛnko nenti sɛ yaa no ɔman ɛbɛkɔ a enti wonhyɛ da hu yɛ MPC abaria nyanganyanga bi wonhyɛ da hu ne fale ba bia ase wɔyɛ nyanganyanga ase obi ahu ne kura no ɔyɛ ne mɔbɔ obɛte ase MP akɔto ne mona sɛ yɛ de na adwene na akɔhyɛ nantwie diem ɛde krado tum enti MP te parliament wɔ no wɔba constituency na MP a wato abama ne pa wonim sɛ MP wɛdeɛ na adwene yɛ collect wɔkɔ mra hyɛ bedwa fie wɔmla fie no ɔna bo wɔsefo asɛm sɛ ɔna bo wɔsefo agimi kɔ momfa nkyɛm sɛ me kasa ba de ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ constituency wobɛdwene ho a wonti asɛ sɛ na MP na wɔdwo sei ɛna na deɛ nsɛnhunu saa na wɔkeka no wofrɛ MP no wɔde akyɛ ne yɔnko MP ɛnkwasiafoɔ no ɔmu gu constituency ɔmbɛfrɛ asrɛsrɛ kyɛ sɛ yɛkyim na adwene ne wɔn ka muni nsuo me na metu nsuo ma mo me na menye sei ɛnyɛ ɔmo o yɛsiesie ɔmo adwene no ɛnyɛ adwuma biem o bebre na adwene nyɛ adwuma entimi tuufo obi afutu ɔde abasisi sɛ woyɛ MP a ire wo sɛ wo bɛkɔ wɔ asɔre yie sɛ enkramo ana wokɔ akɔ ne yie sɛ Kristo na wosom na asom ne yie sɛ bosom ana wosom a som ne yie anyɛ sɛ wadwene no yɛde bɛhyɛ nantwiem enti ɛmuasu ana obeda na di sa wo nkwa na nyinaa so ati ase wada roma yellow number na ɛda hɔ no frɛ na bra so ne ani nkɔmɔ na ntwe yɛ da so yi ɛyɛ tumi a NPP ɛne NDC wɔn mu penti deɛ video no medical bɔ mu nsɛm akyerɛ wo nsɛm a ɛwɔ mu ne sɛ NDC fo ana akɔ na flag ase NPP fo flag ana sɛ NPP fo flag akyekyere na ntwe ne ti ana ɔmu wie yɛ no abo a wɔn wie no yɛde krado ahyɛ ne huru bi abɛhyɛ na no ana yɛde safoa atu ami alɔke nsɛm a ɔmo ka wɔ akyire ne deɛ ma bɔ bi akyerɛ wo na bɛda ne ɛman Ghana ɔman no atumi akɔ n'anim atiefoɔ ewiase ɛyɛ o wiase a mɔbɔ wiase awerɛho anigye biara ne wiase biem ne ɛman Ghana deɛ yɛdeɛ yɛ mɔbɔ too much enti wɔde sɛi ne wɔde bɛdi ɔman no anim a ɛdeɛ bɛɛ bra ana wɔbɛtumi abɔ ɛdeɛ bɛɛ na mo paa na wɔbɛtumi atu atiefoɔ sɔre si ayɛ yɛ frɛ ne bra so ɛ 0547 493971 0547 493971 0547 493971 0547 493971 frɛ ne bra so nanso bɛkyerɛ w'adwere bi nneɛma Ghana deɛ sorry ne kura producer meda ase wabo adwuma sorry na aka no yɛnya ne nyampo akyena deɛ Ibrahim ama ne Kennedy akosia mu nsɛm na ɔmo ka no yɛnya ne kyena mewra ho atiefo frɛ ne bra so bi bɛkyerɛ w'adwene 0547 493971 0547 493971 frɛ ne bra nanso bɛkyerɛ w'adwene yɛda ase ɔfrɛfoɔ bi aba producer mame ɛyi no na yɛni nkɔmmɔ ɛwɔ aha sei mepakyɛw ya mepakyɛw wadaroma udin ni baabi a ɔkasa firi mepakyɛw udin ni baabi a ɔkasa firi ya mepakyɛw udin ni baabi a ɔkasa firi entie wo ho mepakyɛw okay mepakyɛw yɛtie wo mepakyɛw wadaroma yɛte wo nka yɛtie wo
na asɛm a mɔka no sɛ ɔsɛ wotumi wosi no pii aboa no ɛda hɔ no bana na akyikyerɛ no ti
no ɛyɛ NPP flag na akyikyerɛ
no wosi no no screen no so no ɛyɛ panafinaria bɛn na ɛda no ti so no
ɔsɛ flag bɛn na akyikyerɛ no ti so no
yeah
ɛyɛ NPP flag ana ɔmo de akyikyerɛ aboa no ti
why are you adding NDC NPP so who NDC now see NDC sometimes you guys have to be circumspect.
Me pacho de okanmenti ase wada uruma sisu bie mama.
Me say Nigeria why so when we say NPP now NPP flag na chichi so. Instead of say Uba say NPP what we were trying to target with NDC. Number 2 Canada, Japan, a question, your friends, Ibrahim, Mama. What is so special about it? Well, are they not Ghanaians? It's the only opponent they are not listening. Sometimes I am more journalists the way you guys portray things. It doesn't help at all. Even though you are educating people, but then that is not how it should go. NDC, NDI, when they are about also NDC and NPP. And everything they want to do is politics, NDC, NPP, NDC, NPP. Why should it be so?
Why should it be? Me that's say also freba ye be kire wadwe ba de tie ne say video no enye ni nyina ana metimi e de aye ba de wo ho aye moja ne ade na I think say bia o person o hwa metimi asend am our personal so onim say there's rules and regulations I want you to because wadaroma
well can some you being the journalist and then you are not being fair to the people
me pa cho a video na me boy no wadaroma me attack wo de no o de ne de o fracture wadwe me attack wo de no but then say medical bonantwe ne de no kasa na ewo mu no a o mo ka no eye NDC ana akwakosie nantwie no nantwie na o me pacho ubetie ye biem mesa abo no watie I think say ebia ho no obaye no wantie ho ni ti wadaroma we de facha me enye umi security facha me mebo video no no asantie mu nsem no de omo ka na nka wanka se watie bi wadaroma me da se nyame nhira se ofre ba so ye da se ya fa wa asem ni nyina nyame nhira that's
you're doing a good job, yeah.
Yeah, that's nyame nhira da yeah that's pa
thank you
yeah that's nyame nhira da yeah that's pa atiefo obetimi afre aba dwumadie ne so 0547 493971 0547 4939 0547 493971 frɛ ne bra so na so be kyerɛ wadwene ɛwɔ dwumadie ne ɛso de ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ ye man Ghana ana yedi ɛho ɛnkomo no yɛtiefo ne yahwefo ne de mesrɛ mo de monte ase bia no me make sure sɛ mesen si so biem ɛsan ɛde ama mo ti menya ade asɛbe eni ho kwa asɛm yɛ ɛmfa nkyerɛ obi ada madawroma momfa encheme se mesabo video ni biem di akyerɛ mo ba ye facos 0547493971 0547493971 na wafre pa da efre ye no no ka se Ibrahim Mahama ne Kennedy akwakoshia ayibe ne wom. That's the main reason why educate public ne say Kennedy akompre kwa Japan ne Ibrahim Mahama ekokoshia omu nyina ye Ghanaians omu nyina ye nipa ene ade enti ehun mfonso ye dai but ensemo ebinimo ka ana da wada roma ewo ho no ami atam aba ebe educate public say sabi omu nyina ye business ma omu betimi ahia de omu nkomo ba se nkrofo share video no say eya ade boni. That's the main reason why the purpose wa ema ye fa video no say ade boni bia nim ni ade enu nti na ma ye de ba asem crofo tag e kan sem bebre wadawma enu nti na ma ye de ba nti wadawma obetimi afre e de aba 0547 493971 0547 493971 frɛ ne bra so 5 minutes wentimi amfra ma ye di dwumadie no ebekɔ na wie ye sorry say aka na ye de bekɔ kyena because arehwaba because ye wo studio ase no etutoto ne ade no ye obi krom a ye ne wo studio ase enipa na wafrim ne ye ni nuanti in fact arehu ye pa so yes ye this year enti ubetimi afra ba so 5 minutes one from na ye di dwumadie no AC kina ye besa ba same time 4 o'clock na ye di another edition of Ghana Mpunto asan dia bro frene bra so 0547 493971 0547 4939 normal call WhatsApp call ebia wo so abetimi afra ba normal call WhatsApp call ebia obetimi afraba de ye kan ye ye nipa enya bibia na meka no ensem ameka ne the way me see presenting ne ade eno ameba ase meka asem ne kra asem aka asem bi kra me kra mra fi me ho minim se sa asem ne kra mpo ana maka nti ye nipa ne de emfonso ewo ho no but de me ye bia mani da ho ana story bia me de ba bia me make sure say e ya accurate ana me de bro mi mo mi sire mu meka asem bia emfa so bia mreme menya adese no said omoye omode anya sa na mpese meye no eno ekra mfa so be kra na me kra mese anya free so wada ma frɛ ne bra 0547 493971 0547 493971 frɛ ne bra no ma call WhatsApp call bia ye be peke oni ani wadi nkomo e wo ha se stories aye ni nyina no obetimi afrɛ aba no wabedi enkomo ni bi na ntwe ayasie no according to voice ya ewom ene ade se NDC for ana asie se na ntwe no na omode padlock ato ano na arehu ye papa se omanya yetim na sei kwan ya fa so de begi tumi ni ade bi chiri nuru so ebi yes ade no ti saade we nyina ka ho ene mpanifo ne ba omuntimi perform na nka enwanwa senko omanya yetim na twedi amponyankopon wase mabos enipa se mesuban ne mense so enti ade a me ye bia no eyese nipa timi ye nipa ntimi anya kura anko o mehu abrofo itimi ye broni o ma ne tena asori dem che within seconds obeyi ne dwo to ahye ba ohu ni nua ohu ni se ni nua nie kwa asori koda nyame ase eye bibia kama on kwotena asori dem ne nkwa na nyina na se the whole day na bra o ma mekum nipa da bibini broni nya saade no ba bibini betri akosha asori dem aya asori ya na wotwe opie ba ya obekum nipa tie no ya adwene no minim ye wo ya adwenem broni betimi akoto ni nua no oya ade bi ade no obechense mi nua fafa no ono abre aboa no oya ade no omde age omudi bibini beto se wusi abeso obemeki so se wode soso be woto no apra okwa because ade na wo ye na bia akoya ade ye papa ekina wudi bedi udin se niema na wo NPP ni anisim so obepia ne yonko ye de na ko opposition enti se wo ya ade pa omoa no the same thing NDC ni so ba na NPP ni wo power so wo ya de pa so obebo ade dabi wo pese wo wo ne ho an wo ko opposition no ono befa saade no ene emfa so bia amre ye man Ghana eno na ama sabe ye ko yachi anytime tinyame se wo aboni pa sabe suba ne mense so ye so abibifo oboye sa yakura ne age Bible no ata ye ni ase na nka de bebiem etiefo frenebra 0547493971 0547493971 frenebra aka 2 minutes eso a dwumadie no ye de ba na wie ye etiefo mamenkenkan comment ni bi emfama so ofrefo bia mamenkenkan comment ni bi na press conference no NPP ye no ye mo anana ye nko comment ya aba no wose de we mamemra na me mekenkan di mam meba abet said there was a Ken meeting Ibrahim Mahama not news. They are both business men. Thank you for how okay yeah that's it. I think say be crown on everybody that yeah that's nyamisha pa yeah the aja yeah new opportunity near better na ye kadi nim but omu etie ne de omu no omu nim de the chair yen cry sisi anti yadamase some so mo de also de wo de eba ye amen kohwe we abetasi edu said or say Ziga is greedy. Oh yeah that's it also de wo de buy na say Kesben Ziga I ho asem no all can and ho asem no Richard said was say how can both Alan and Kennedy be the running mate to a liar? Okay, yeah that's it. Na say Ziga de na all can I ho reply na eba no yeah that's it. E wa dwenkyira mo de ba wadaroma producer say yemfa 3 minutes nsan kan wo bi amfra na yemfa dwumadie no enko na wie ye 0547493971 0547493971 obetimi afre no abaso ana producer meda say okay atiefo producer say MPP press conference ya omo aye no MPP aye domkuma ewo mrahye bedwafie no aye press conference na press conference no assemti anase de omugina so nyina ne say 350 million Ghana cedis omo ni say ya withdraw amfa emrakwan so ana say sika no a withdraw enti ehun press conference ana omo edi ahyehye so producer yentie say press conference no emra na yenko yanim na yehu de ye na I think say binum kura ye basa wa hase na yenko yanim ati yenko when you say video no okay yentie omo press conference nemra
We are about to start. You want to start. Please give me a part of it. And I've told you, we have been on this course. We should stop that. Affects our focus. We can go. Yeah, we are set.
Last week, this country suffered the worst flooding in the recorded history. 34 of our compatriots lost their lives. 90,000 were displaced across 7 regions. In that dark hour, we supported the swift release of emergency measures and asked only for transparency, accountability, and fairness to flood victims in every region of this country. Today, we stand before you with a document and a regulation. The document is a letter on the letterhead of the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, dated 1st July 2026, signed by the Attorney General and Minister for Justice himself, and addressed to the Governor of the Bank of Ghana. Copies will be made available to you. The revelation is what happened after the letter was delivered. A sequence of events that exposes a government inconstitutional case where the Attorney General directs illegality. The central bank refuses him, and $350 million Ghana cedis of the people's money moved from the Channel Parliament, never approved. In this letter, headed release of funds from the contingency fund for the emergency flood response program, the Attorney General writes to the Governor of the Central Bank, and we quote his exact words: "I'm aware that the contingency fund is presently the subject of a garnishing proceeding." Ladies and gentlemen, the Attorney General of the Republic confirms in writing that the contingency fund, a fund established by the Constitution of Ghana, is under garnishing proceedings before a court of its life. A judgment creditor has moved against the very fund from which Parliament approved 350 million dollars for flood victims. Until this moment, neither the government nor the Attorney General had breathed a word of this to Parliament or to the people of Ghana. And what does the Attorney General do? Confronted with the court process against the constitutional fund, does he go before the court? Does he apply to vary or discharge the attachments? Does he plead a national emergency before a judge, as the law provides and as any diligent counsel would? No. He continues, and again he quotes, "Notwithstanding those proceedings, it is my considered opinion the exceptional circumstances surrounding this national emergency and the overriding public interest in safeguarding lives and property warrant the immediate release of the approved funds." Unquote. He then advises the Bank of Ghana to give effect to the approvals and directives already issued, and to release the 350 million from the contingency fund without delay. Then it is in his own hand, the Attorney General, aware of subsisting court process, directed the Central Bank of the Republic to proceed, notwithstanding it on no authority and his own considered opinion. In the Republic of Ghana, court processes are not overridden by the considered opinion of any minister. They are varied, discharged, or set aside by the courts that issue them, and by no one else. Now to the revelation. The Attorney General's letter speaks for itself. It directed the Governor of the Bank of Ghana to give effect to the release of funds from the contingency fund, notwithstanding the pending garnishee proceedings. Yet the Ministry of Finance subsequently announced that the 350 million cedis had been released, while the court process remained unresolved. The unavoidable question, therefore, is how did the money move? One conclusion is difficult to escape. If the contingency fund remained under attachment and could not lawfully be assessed, then the emergency disbursement could only have proceeded through another public account. In other words, when the approved source became unavailable, an alternative source appears to have been used. If that is what occurred, then Parliament was never asked to approve the alternative source, and the constitutional requirements governing withdrawals from public funds were bypassed. Yet the Ministry of Finance official statement announced, without qualification, that the money had been released from the contingency fund. If the funds were in fact drawn from another account, then that statement statement did not accurately reflect what transpired. We say to the government, these are your records. The Ghana share order, the Bank of Ghana account statement, the Controller and Accountant General transfer advice, all of it sits in your custody. If the 350 million cedis truly came from the contingency fund, as you told the nation, lay the records before Parliament and prove it. If it did not, then tell Ghanaians which account was used, who authorized the withdrawal, and under what law. Consider first the supremacy of the Constitution and the rule of law under Article 1, 2, and 125. When the court attaches funds by garnishing, the law freezes those funds pending the court's determination. Every lawyer in this country knows the lawful responses. Appear before the court, resist the order, apply to set it aside, or plead the urgency of the public interest to the judge. Public interest is an argument addressed to a court. A government whose Attorney General certifies his own exemptions from judicial process has placed itself above the courts. And a government above the court is a government outside the Constitution. Consider second, Article 177 and 178. Parliament's Finance Committee, acting under Article 1771 on 29 June 2026, authorized a withdrawal from the contingency fund, from that fund and no other. An authorization under Article 177 is not a blank check, cashable against any account of the state that the executive finds convenient. Article 178 commands in clear language that no monies shall be withdrawn from the consolidated fund or from any public fund of Ghana except upon authorization given by or under an act of Parliament or as the Constitution provides. If the 350 million was drawn from your any account other than the contingency fund, then the approval Parliament granted was never executed. The withdrawal that was executed was never approved. And the Constitution and the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, which criminalizes unauthorized withdrawals of public funds, have been violated in broad daylight. Consider third, Article 88. The Attorney General is the principal legal advisor to the government and is responsible for the conduct of all civil proceedings against the state. His letter of 1st July 2026 is a written admission of failure on both fronts. As the officer responsible for civil proceedings against the state, he presided over litigation in which a constitutional fund of the Republic was attached, and there's no indication that the attachment was resisted or that any application was made to discharge it. As principal legal advisor, when the moment came to counsel lawfully and the nation on 29 June, the Finance Committee approved a withdrawal from a fund the executive knew, or that on the information available to us never occurred as prescribed. Concealment of material facts from Parliament, compounded by a false official statement to the public, strikes at the foundation of parliamentary oversight, the power of the purse, and the basic covenant of honesty between the government and the people. The minority therefore demands immediate and complete answers to the following questions. Which court is seized of the Ganesha proceedings against the contingency fund? In respect of which judgment, debt, in which seat, and for what amount? When was the Republic settled? And what did the Attorney General office do about it? Did the governor of the, if so, did the Bank of Ghana decline to give effect to the Attorney General's directive? And on what legal advice? From which account precisely was the 350 million cedis withdrawn? On what date, on whose instruction, and under whose authorization? And the question that towers above all the others, by what law does an Attorney General considered opinion suspend the process of court of the Republic? The role of the Minister of Finance in this affair demands independent scrutiny by Parliament. On 29 June 2026, the Minister came before Parliament's Finance Committee seeking approval to withdraw 350 million cedis from the contingency fund. At that moment, one of the two things must have been true. Either the minister knew that the contingency fund was already the subject of financial proceedings, and felt had become entangled in court conflicts. Matters become even more troubling if, as the information available to the minority suggests, the funds were ultimately released from an entirely different public account. If the minister authorized or became aware of that alternative arrangement, why did he not return to Parliament for fresh approval? Why did the Minister of Finance subsequently announce that the funds had been released from the contingency fund? Was Parliament misled? Were Ghanaians misled? These are questions that only a full parliamentary inquiry can answer. Let no one mistake this for a technical dispute among lawyers. When 350 million cedis of public funds moves out of account, Parliament never approved, under cover of an official statement naming a different source, outside every control that the Constitution and the PSN Act erects around public funds, the conditions for corruption are perfect. Which account was debited? What else sits in that account? And what other withdrawals have been made from it on the strength of executive instructions rather than parliamentary approval? Step back and observe the picture, ladies and gentlemen. A constitutional fund of the Republic was dragged into Ganesha proceedings, and the government told no one. Parliament approved an emergency withdrawal without being told the fund was encumbered. The Attorney General, guardian of legality, overreached by directing the central bank to disregard a subsisting court protest on the strength of its personal opinion. The money then moved from an unapproved account, and the Ministry of Finance announced to the nation a version of events that the government's own records would not support. The Attorney General's letter itself, referencing the telephone conversation with the governor, that that very afternoon and directives already issued paints the picture of the government scrambling in panic to paper over a problem it should have seen coming and should have as inconveniences. It cannot claim to be resetting the economy while demonstrating to every investor, every development partner, and every judgment creditor that in Ghana, the state's accounts are managed by ambush, improvisation, and concealment. And they cannot look flood victims in the eye while the institution meant to protect the funds for their relief are at war with one another over whether to obey the courts. Ladies and gentlemen, offices of state are defined by their moments of pride. For the Attorney General, this was such a moment. But that moment did not begin with the letter of the 1st July 2026. It began much earlier. We are in possession of court processes relating to these Ghanaian proceedings. These processes reveal that the Republic was not ambushed. The litigation followed the ordinary course of judicial proceedings. Court processes were served. Procedural opportunities existed for the Republic to respond, to protect its interests, and where appropriate, to seek relief from the court. Yet, despite all these opportunities, a constitutional fund of the Republic became entangled in Ghanaian proceedings. That is the product of neglect. An Attorney General who presides over the attachment of constitutional fund has failed in diligence. An Attorney General who conceals that the attachment from Parliament had failed in conduct. An Attorney General who directs the Central Bank to proceed notwithstanding those proceedings on the strength of his own opinion has failed in fidelity to the very constitution it swore to uphold. An Attorney General whose directive is so plainly unlawful that the Central Bank of the Republic refuses to carry. To carry it out had been repudiated, not by its political opponents, but by the institution of its own government. Let no one plead the emergency in his defense. The emergency demanded speed before a judge, not a coup against the court's process. Any competent Attorney General could have secured the lawful release of these funds within 24 hours by moving the courts, disclosing the agency, and letting the judicial process work as it was designed to. The flood victims of this country deserved the Attorney General. They did not get him. The minority caucus accordingly calls on the Attorney General, a Minister of Justice, to resign for. Should he fail to do the honorable thing, we call on the President, who swore an oath to preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution, to relieve him of office without delay. The minority accordingly demands, first, the Attorney General and the Minister for Finance appear before Parliament without delay to lay before the House the Ghanaian order, the full record of the suit that produced the judgment debt, the letter of 1st July 2026, and every correspondence exchanged among the Attorney General, the Ministry of Finance, the Controller and Accountant General, and the Bank of Ghana concerning the attachment, the directives, and the withdrawal. Second, that the Governor of Bank of Ghana state publicly whether the bank declined to give effect to the Attorney General's directive, from which account the 350 million was in fact released and on whose instruction. Third, the Auditor General immediately conduct a special audit of the flood response disbursement from source to destination and report to Parliament. Fourth, the Attorney General resign or be removed. We shall pursue every parliamentary and legal avenue available to us, including motion for a full-scale parliamentary inquiry and recourse to the Supreme Court for the enforcement of the Constitution under Article 2 and 130. In conclusion, let us be abundantly clear. The minority stands with the victim of these floods fully and without reservation. Not one peso of relief should be delayed. And we shall support every lawful measure to get help to those who need it. Our issue is with the government that conceals court processes from Parliament, directs its central bank into illegality, moves the people's money through unapproved channels, and then tells the nation a story its own records contradicts. The greater danger to a constitutional democracy is when those entrusted to uphold the law decide that the law no longer applies to them. In this affair, the Attorney General presumed to overrule a court by arbitration. The executive presumed to substitute Parliament's approval with its own convenience. The Ministry of Finance presumed that an official statement could replace the truth. That is not the conduct of government committed to the rule of law. It is the conduct of a government that has begun to confuse power with permissions. We shall not relent, and we will continue to keep government account. God bless our whole land and make it great and strong. Thank you very much.